although Excalibur does play a good SF, I think there are other heroes that suit his playstyle and him as a player better.
Okay.
We'll just have to see how the draft develops, but it is also a dire SF, so there's also that to throw into the mix, and it just feels like they are angling for something else now. This ban is going to be the really interesting one. What do you think No Logic are considering in this second ban stage?
I think they're considering whether to take out the Wisp or to leave a couple of OP heroes in the pool, and whether if Team Empire is going to take all of them. The other hero that's very important for both of these teams is the Darkseer. Because to me, Darkseer it's really, really hard to lose the lane as a Darkseer. So giving it away to Funnick, for example, or picking up themselves is very good. So looks like they have elected to leave in the pool. If Team Empire does not ban the Wisp here, I think there's a high chance that NLG will pick it up themselves.
Yeah, even if you do lose your lane as Darkseer, you always have that fallback mechanism. You can go back into the woods, farm up. It's also very good against the IO, which is also something to keep in mind. The ban that they'll settle on is the Winter Wyvern. I think this is just one of those general OP heroes, or not necessarily OP, but very strong at the very least, that they didn't want left inside the pool. And Team Empire will opt to leave the IO available for No Logic Gaming to first pick.
Snap pick it up.
Dusk. Yeah.
So Bane and probably Darkseer. No, they're gonna go
Tiny.
Yeah, obviously to deny it. Bane is kind of the big thing here to me because generally Wisp is paired with the Bane. Wisp to me is not exactly a strong lane dominator, so you need another support that could punch hard in the laning stage, and Bane is probably one of the best support for that. We've seen in the past that NLG really like to pick up Disruptor as a secondary support, but Wisp and Disruptor is just not a good pair together because neither of them is really strong at laning. Neither of them is strong at dominating a single lane. So we'll see if NLG gonna lean back to their comfort hero as a dual support, or they're gonna pick something that maybe work a little bit better together.
Yeah, and to follow up that IO in the second pick, it's going to be a Queen of Pain for Excalibur, presumably in the mid lane. Interesting response to the Bane Tiny. I'd say that Bane Tiny is pretty good against Queen. Just that mass amount of burst damage, getting on top of her, the Avalanche Toss combo is going to kill her for a long time. But what you do get is somebody that's very mobile around the map, can follow up after the relocates, and just brings a truck ton of damage, which is pretty darn good.
Not only, I agree with your point about Tiny, but not only that, I think Bane is amazing against Queen of Pain. Because normally, supports traditionally just can't walk in the mid lane and trade hits with Queen of Pain. Well, Bane can. In fact, Bane, I think, wins the trade, depending if he has that no talisman start. And I think actually it was Team Empire that popularized it. So imagine Bane walks up to you, he has like 60-something damage, you trade hits, you throw a dagger on him, he's like, okay, I'll brain slap it back. And that's suddenly all the harass that you're not letting. So I'm not about this Queen of Pain second pick. It's really been phasing out lately. Gyrocopter to me is much of a better hero in this current patch, and you see that Team Empire very happy to grab it up first pick in the second phase.
Maybe the response to that Bane Tiny is to put somebody else with the IO. Any single hero is really going to struggle against the Bane Tiny for a lot of the reasons we were talking about earlier. So are there any heroes that come to mind immediately that could actually function inside that lane partnered up with the Wisp?
I mean, we saw the partner of LC last game, working out very well in the mid lane, especially because it's such a tight ramp that your overwhelming odds is generally going to hit multiple heroes and multiple creeps, thereby dealing a ton of damage. But I doubt that NLG will run the LC. I personally like Bristleback quite a bit on the mid lane, although again that's somewhat dangerous because you're cool spraying against two heroes, and both of them could benefit off your magic stick charges. I think it really comes down to NLG's comfort. And so far they pick up Witch Doctor, so a hero that combines decently with the Wisp in the sense that you get a lot of base damage, you get decent stuns in the early game, and of course if you do go for the Voodoo Restoration route, well, you double up the heal, so it's decent there.
And maybe even more than anything, it just gives you a strong laning support to make up for one of IO's weaker portions of the game. Now for Team Empire, they already have a really well-balanced first three heroes, I'd say. The Tiny, Gyrocopter, Bane. They're very self-contained. They can do a lot by themselves, but when you put them together, that's terrifying. I don't think there's any glaring weakness coming out from Team Empire right now, but they will. Funnick here is just a guaranteed initiator. Maybe something like the Batrider would be reasonable.
Yeah, I think...
Darkseer's still in the pool.
Yeah.
I forgot about him.
I think the reason that NLG is not electing to pick up the Darkseer themselves is that Darkseer versus Gyro is not the best matchup. Darkseer normally, when you put it against most melee heroes, not only you're going to contain the melee hero's farm, you're also going to end up doing a lot of chip tier 1 tower damage. But Gyrocopter, a good Gyrocopter player will just take Flak Cannon at 1 and just shoot out the wave such that the tier 1 tower, I imagine Havos going to be playing it, Gyro. The tier 1 tower under his protection is not going to suffer if he gets a Gyro versus Darkseer matchup. That's why I don't think NLG was picking up. And thus now Funny gets the Darkseer himself, and that combines so well with Gyrocopter.
Yeah, and it really feels like there's just so many comfortable and good heroes for Team Empire in this game. You have Resolution's Tiny, you have Pavos Gyrocopter, Funix Darkseer. It doesn't get any more signatures than that, really. And now for No Logic Gaming, nothing's really tied together. Right now for Team Empire, it doesn't really matter what they pick fifth. Oh, of course it matters, but as far as the cohesiveness of their draft, they're still going to be able to accomplish a lot with just these 4 heroes. And No Logic maybe not so much. What do you think's the best IO partner this game?
I mean, I think the partner aspect of IO is, to me, very much so overrated.
Okay.
As they go Clockwork here, 4th pick. What we saw out of Aloha Dance was a good example of that. Like last game, sure, you could talk about the Wisp plus LC combo, but what he did in the early to mid game was what won the game for Team Empire for me. Because remember, like Beastmaster was getting ganked up top. He just rotates before the gank even happens. He sees it, turns the gank around. Suddenly, instead of losing a Beastmaster, you get 2 hero kills. It's things like that Wisp could do in the early game that not many other supports could do. So in this game, I don't think NLG need to focus on picking a partner, although Team Empire suspects it and they ban out this Sven, which would have been a great partner. But one thing I do want to touch on as the draft is nearing the end is that NLG needs to win the laning stage. You talked about how Team Empire has comfort picks. At the end of the day, they should have really tanky heroes. Yeah. So Queen of Pain needs to do a ton of mid-game damage, especially now with your Clockwork pick. Like, who's actually dealing out the damage apart from the Queen of Pain? I guess Witch Doctor will give you some. Clockwork gives you a tiny bit, but your last pick needs to punch really, really hard. And I don't know who's gonna do it. Sven taking out, Huskar taking out. So who's gonna deliver that punch?
We'll just have to wait and see what No Logic are going to go ahead and pick up. For now, it's going to be Empire's Rubik, and I think this is a great defensive hero against the Clockwork. Gives them yet another way to cancel the Death Ward. Everybody, in one way, shape, or form, has a way to stop that channeling, although Gyrocopter may be less so. There's just a lot of...
Gyro's way is just to kill you.
Yeah, pretty much.
Not hard to do.
Yeah, and Witch Doctor is so incredibly squishy, and I think just this strong lane, the Rubik Gyrocopter, then you have the Bane Tiny mid, and then the Darkseer in the offlane. It's really hard for Team Empire to lose the early game, and that's kind of what No Logic Gaming need to have happen. They need to make sure that they start out with a lead so that the Clockwork has the appropriate levels to where he can maybe get on top of the Bane. But even then, these supports are going to be really hard for a Clockwork to kill.
Yeah, one thing that NLG does have going for them is just the range, attack range in lane, which I'm not sure how much that's gonna alleviate the laning problem. I still look to your Bane Tiny mid controlling the Queen of Pain. I don't think Clockwork will beat a Gyro in lane, and then Darkseer should just at least trade evenly against most laners. So, I mean, this draft, their NLG still has 1 pick, but I feel like Team Empire has already won the drafting phase, unless something just comes out as a curveball. Luna is not it, in my opinion. I'm not sure how you feel about that.
It gives you a way, if you had to transition into the tower pushes. So in that sense, the Luna pick is alright, I suppose, but it doesn't feel like it's going to be any more than just alright. It's going to be really hard for NLG. I think this draft, if nothing else, like with no expectations going to this game, is objectively just better for Empire.
Yeah. I mean, this is sort of a game of Dota 2. Anything could happen beyond this point.
For sure.
I mean, if, for example, Queen of Pain just gets 3 kills in lane and suddenly just snowballs, and definitely have a different ball game. But I think we are both in agreement that Empire has at least an easier draft to execute in every stage of the game.
Yeah, and quickly just to introduce our teams on the Dire side. Now, for No Logic Gaming, even though they might have gotten the shorter half of the stick when it comes to the draft, we'll have to see what they're able to pull off when it comes to individual play. Madera's going to be playing on the Luna Spartan on his signature IO. Witch Doctor is going to be handled by Milan. Mid lane Excalibur on the Queen of Pain. And bottom lane, it is going to be Mitch on the Clockwork.
All right, meanwhile, back on the Radiant side, we got Resolution playing the mid Tiny. Looks like he's rushing for the quick bottle. No fear on that Bane, and of course he's got that no talisman, bringing his base damage to 67. So just real fast, comparing to the base damage of Queen of Pain, she already out-hits the Queen of Pain, right? And then he's still got Brain Sap to follow up, so ain't great there. Funnick, of course, going to be on the Darkseer. It looks like he's already laying out that Iron Shell in preparation of this rune fight. Volts in the Roshan pit right now playing the gyrocopter. He walks out of it. He's actually going to train with Excalibur here. Let's see how this is going to fight. It's going to bring out. He is forced to retreat here. And actually level 1 battery assault. Havos, in Havos standards, gives away first blood after Excalibur picks up the bounty rune. And great. And then, of course, last but not least, Aloha Dance tagged up as weapon while playing that Rubik.
It was so greedy coming out from the gyrocopter. Just being inside that Roshan pit alone without any backup is in and of itself very greedy, but he probably could have just run away, and he turns back in trying to secure that downy rune. I don't think that's going to hurt their lanes that much, but it is going to help out the Clockwork a lot.
It helps out the Queen amazingly, because I talked about how Novir should dominate the Queen, but actually a little bit of toss back, knowing that Queen does not have Blink. Well, he got the level 2 right then and there. He blinks away. Top lane?
Oh, they're going to find Funnick, but a TP out. There's no way for them to cancel this yet. Luna's still only level 1. Won't have that Lucent Beam for a long time.
I think that was a little bit of picnic from Funnick, because he could have just TP'd back into tier 1 and not lose so much time and experience. But maybe it was like a picnic double-click TP, and he's back in the base.
Yeah, I think that's fair. He might have been able to get a little bit more out of the lane if he TP's back to tier 1, but still it's in a great spot for Madeira right now. He's just under his tier 1, farming away. That's probably where it's going to stay for the most of the time, mid lane. They want to get aggressive on this Queen. Excalibur is going to get Avalanche. They don't have the toss mana yet, too short when he was going for that. So Excalibur is going to be able to back off. If he has the full combo there, that's probably a kill.
I like the fact that Empire is putting out a ton of harass onto Queen, because once Queen gets the bottle, then I think they might start even to rotate off the lane, because they're not going to get a kill. In fact, they're going to go right in. Heather's coming from the wisp. He doesn't have the bottle region, and Excalibur just dies. I'm not sure whether they could have made that aggressive play without Spartan having the bottle, so huge misplay. And more importantly, Queen now delays his bottle by quite a bit.
This lane gets really difficult already. 0 and 1 when it comes to last hits, having died even after that first blood, which in theory would have helped out the Queen of Pain a bunch. Isn't going to happen. Resolution is going to take quite a bit of damage inside the river, but Spartan, look at that bait, just right click away in the eye with the brain zap, but here comes Queen. They do have the paralyzing gas, the knife bounces back and forth. They'll throw away the Queen, and that is going to be Tiny to almost kill off Spartan, but Spartan's going to be fine, and so is the Tiny.
Well, I guess Queen's now right back in the game with that one kill, so. Alright, it's kind of a little hectic on the mid lane, but the lanes are, being as they should. Tiny now gets a fresh bottle with the Bane teleporting back in, so it's all good.
Yeah, as far as the other lanes are concerned, the safe lane farmers are doing just that, but Nightmare on Excalibur. This could get awkward. They're holding the brain sap, toss him back in. They have the Avalanche. He's trying for the courier. Avalanche gonna kill him off before he's able to snipe off the chick. Nicely done, Empire.
I'm not sure whether that was an intended bait, but it was a really smart play in the sense that he tossed him back in the tower. Tower gets a shot off, and he was waiting for the blink. But Excalibur, for example, could have easily blinked up north and avoided that altogether. So Excalibur went for the gusto YOLO play.
Darkseid are going to take a lot of damage. The spirits are going to follow him, and Luna
actually might die here. Yeah. Mango, beam, one more ball to the face. Well, you need to. Oh, the salve gets cancelled, and of course, the high base damage being provided by the Lunar Blessing gets them to kill.
Yeah, not a traditional pairing with the IO, but that movement speed at this early stage is ridiculous. With Boots and the tether up to 433, even Surge, it's just not a reliable way to get out.
Alright, so I'm going to point back to what I brought up earlier, is that it's important for Empire, for Funnick to have a good game, and of course for NLG, for Excalibur to have a good game. So far, they've both been dying. So we'll see how this one goes.
Yeah, it's just not working out super well, especially for Excalibur. Still, even without...
Bottom lane, though, looks like Mitch might actually going to get solo picked off. The cog's going to be good, but the last hit here from Aloha Dance, and of course, it drew out TP as well. So, pretty victory
now back there. On the Queen. No, she's going to drop pretty low, but Excalibur has the blink out, so he's going to be just...
He's got a bottle as well, but the rune's going to get denied here by Aloha. Let's see if Queen's going to blink forward. No, it's going to back it off.
Yeah. I'm not sure if they were keeping track. Rubik didn't have mana, so maybe Queen of Pain could have gotten away with it, but it's just way too risky. When you're already behind, it's really hard to make that call.
Yeah. So what we've been seeing on the mid lane, and I really should have pointed this out, is that the Bane Tiny duel has a ton of burst damage. We saw EGM and Zambo using it the last game. You just Nightmare walk up, you could do the Avalanche toss, and then you have the Brain Sap. You have an insane amount of burst damage early game, and Queen being forced back to base for like 4th time now.
Like again, the IO Spirits! Ooh, survive on 20 HP. They can't chase. The Luna's already gone back to farming. So he's going to be just fine, if only just. Still, as far as comparing the Darkseer and the Clockwork is concerned, Mitch, even though he has died, has still managed to get more experience and is almost level 5.
Yep. Mitch, hitting the early level 6 is going to be key in terms of setting up a kill. But probably only on the Bane. Might not even get the kill on the Bane.
Yeah, it's going to be really hard, even though the Bane isn't getting a lot of room when it comes to being solo in the lane. He's getting a lot of experience from the Tiny, and
I mean, look at his HP.
Kills. Yeah, he's up to 739. Then you add the brain sap on top of that.
No talisman, man. It's an item.
His effective HP is through the roof. Everything's gonna slow down a little bit as the kills aren't very obvious right now, and there's just nobody in a super bad position. But still, Empire have quite a nice lead when it comes to just the farm, but double damage popped, and Vayne is rotating in from the right-hand side.
Tiny on the mid lane, walks in with the Avalanche toss combo, Excalibur
Nice
just back out. Like you said, nothing is really happening, and I think that favors Team Empire, because once they get up their key items and levels, they are looking the game. Resolution, very close to the Blink Dagger, halfway there. And of course...
top rune contest. Let's see, they'll Nightmare up Excalibur, and it looks like Resolution is going to be able to secure it with an Avalanche on his partner's Eternal.
Okay, blinks forward here for no fear though, but again, he has Brain Sap, so he's not even scared.
Yeah, it's just so hard for them to be able to commit. Even though the Tiny isn't able to get the kill on the Queen of Pain, there really wasn't a kill opportunity with Nightmare.
Oh, the Overcharge is going to try to... Okay. Tries to do something is the point here, but looks like he might not get off his sap as the pass is bouncing left and right. They do get the kill. Madara TP's in just in case, and he needs to go back to that top lane and farm, man.
Yeah, this is going to free up a little bit of space for the...
Oh, they could kill him. Toss onto the Luna for a beam. Toss forward, but needed to toss onto the Luna, and now Weapon Y might just be dead.
That's going to be Aloha Dance falling pretty easily. Clockwork snipes it with the flare.
Alright, so... This game is clowny to say the least.
Toss is just one of those spells. A lot of fun to watch though. Darkseer's going to pick up a little bit of farm on the sidelines as Funnick can't really do that much at this early stage of the game, and just doesn't have a lot of farm compared to what Darkseers usually do. When it comes to the actual money they has, now Lucent being going to be thrown his way, as his Soul Ring nearabouts, but it's a little unfortunate. His CS is artificially inflated by taking that small camp a couple of times.
Yeah. I have my doubts about this Luna pick, but one thing that he does do very well... Oh, going for the solo kill. The beams are going to be there, but Creep Wave joins just in time. And looks like Smart might be in a lot of trouble here. Avatos plus the tower hits going to put Resolution on a killing spree. I see a lot of Luna players making that mistake.
He wants more.
He could do a toss back play.
Gonna try for it, getting under the creep wave. It's gonna toss a creep, and they just don't have the damage. Madara is gonna be able to back off, but this Tiny is so close to his Blink Dagger.
Once he gets the blink, I think the game is completely wide open for Empire. And if
surging forward, they want something. They might find Milan. They're gonna pull back the
Casto. What a spell. Yeah, by the way, once he gets blink, like anybody on the side of NLG will just straight up die. So, big item for them.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of shows the weaknesses of Tiny beforehand, especially when you have the Darkseer. The only way to commit is just to run in, and Casca's amazing against that, but if he has the Blink, that's Dead Witch Doctor. Even worse, Dead Luna would have been a while ago. Down bottom lane, we have a solo spell coming out from Aloha Dance behind Havost. The Clockwork's here alone. They're probably just going to kill the Clockwork with it. Lift it back up to the Dark Upper with the call down. Easy kill onto Mitch. Yeah, they'll be able to bring him down even with the Cogs.
Yeah.
Here comes Excalibur. He has a double damage rune. Has the Sonic Wave. He's going to clip on the Gyrocopter. That was a really nice ultimate.
You could do it right in front of Rubik's face because he's not level 6. There's no steals. But one thing that you brought up earlier is that Luna is very good for the kind of strong mid-game, early-game 5-man push. But provided that's only if you win the lane. And I feel like with essentially almost every lane losing, NLG will really lack direction walking into this mid-game. Like, what is NLG really supposed to do? What's their timing that they're looking for? I feel like they're missing a lot of key items. They're missing a lot of key levels to really make the play. Whereas Empire, it's very easy for them to play their game. Like, whenever cooldown's available, he could go for smoke ganks. Whenever Resolution gets his Blink Dagger, he will just look for solo picks. And eventually uses accrue such a big gold and experience advantage. But I think walking forward, NLG needs to play much better to beat Team Empire in this game.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And a lot of it is going to come down to the Queen of Pain and Clockwork's rotations. And Clockwork still doesn't have that level 6. Although he did have an advantage over the Darkseer. It has since fallen vastly in the favor of Sonic. But now we have that Blink Dagger up for the Tiny. And this is a really fast blink. I'm not sure if No Logic Gaming are going to 100% expect it, and even if you do know the Tiny has a blink dagger, there's no guarantee you're going to survive either way. Resolution coming in from the north. Where are they going to go? Go for the Queen, and I think Excalibur's dead. That's gone.
Oh, they even have Beam Script.
No
Actually,
chances.
to be fair, without Beam Script, they don't get the kill. It looks like they're going to turn it back to no fear. All the spells on cooldown right now. Brain Stab does fall off here, but they don't have enough damage. And that's something that I mentioned earlier. Once Clock gets level 6, normally you're like, all right, let's game, but...
I think they're going back in. Resolution's going to look for the blink, but the Witch Doctor's a little bit far away, so he's not going to be able to find that kill.
Yeah. So... your Clock can't do much. And then, who do you look for making damage? I guess Queen could give it to you, but Queen is on such a long cooldown because she doesn't have Aghanim's yet, obviously. So, I mean, I guess you look at Luna for your ultimate for damage. I just don't know.
It's just so situational. A lot of the things that No Logic Gaming have are reliant on Empire getting caught out of position. Maybe they get buddied up for a cask, or maybe they're away from the creep wave and they get caught out by the Eclipse. But it's just not as reliable as Empire. Like Blink and Abatos, it doesn't get much more reliable than that, and Gyrocopter too.
And of course, let's not forget about mid lane.
They're gonna toss him back in into the loosened beam.
Can we get some overcharged shield? Bottle maybe up. Mitch, it's gonna get tossed back. The creeps should be able to finish. The cog goes down, but the loosened beam stolen here. Aloha is gonna get the kill. I was gonna say, let's not forget the fact that you can still Eclipse and Sonic Wave. Mid lane though, no fear. He's gonna get casted back up. The balls are in his face, and he's gonna get brought down. All right, so getting a freebie here for Luna. I'll help him out a bit.
Oh, that was greedy by the Bane. It looks like he just didn't have enough mana to finish that out. But, yeah, still 8-7. The kill score is close, but it feels like the momentum is pretty vastly in favor of Empire. And now the tool that No Logic Gaming have to shake things up is the Clockwork Hookshot, which is now available. And still, he needs to go with the Queen. I want to see them smoke, or at the very least, put themselves in a situation where they can find those kills, because right now it's really hard. Empire have all of their waves pushed out, and then the Gyrocopter is just going to move in the woods. Zavost has, for the most part, been untouched. Granted, the Luna is also getting a lot of farm.
I think actually I would make the complete opposite suggestion for Mitch. I feel like, yes, you could go Clockwork and go maybe set up a gank or maybe prevent a gank. That's great. But he's going to have a bigger effectiveness in this game once he gets Blade Mail. Imagine if Clockwork goes, relocate happens here in the jungle. I'm not sure how much they're going to find here. Immediate Nightmare. Somebody needs to toggle off the Nightmare, but looks like Spartan's going to get gripped. There's that Clockwork coming in. There's the Eclipse doing some work, but looks like they'll lose the Wisp on the way out, but when you're behind, you'll take those trade. But can we get a steal, maybe? Oh, looks like no spell steal just yet. He's going to go for the solo kill against Mitch. Nice magic stick back up here for Mitch. Blinking forward, the beam gets one kill. The Abatos should get the secondary kill here. Cass gets a full back and forth. Resolution gets the Abatos combo off, gets the kill here. And what seemed like a good start here for Team NLG has really gone the other direction for Empire.
Yeah, and a lot of it just comes down to the Bane. We didn't talk about it specifically in the draft, Bane against the IO, but just being able to Nightmare one and Fiend Script the other, those ganks are so hard to pull off.
I'm surprised that NLG went for that gank without the Queen, because that's their best and most reliable damage source. So, to me, that's dropping the ball. But early TP coming in, and let's see if this works out.
Over the cast away of Funnick, bounces to Bo, still channels the Death Ward, but it only hits the illusions, and this just isn't enough. Without the Death Ward, it feels like they don't have the damage, but they will be able to get the deny. So those TPs aren't completely useless, and in good news, the Queen of Pain gets a lot of farming space, able to take down that tier 1 tower, and now is well on her way towards having the Orchid as the one Oblivion staff already done. But going aggressive Empire, if they find anybody, it's just over, at least for that one hero.
Yeah. Going Orchid is nice, because normally you would say Bane and Rubik are somewhat the tougher supports to kill, but you silence them up and they're essentially free food, so I do like the choice. Nice D-Ward here by Spartan.
Yeah, we'll be able to take out the wards. That's a pretty obvious one, I'd say, because of the relocate earlier. Didn't have a lot of duration left, but yeah, gonna be nice for them. Also important in this game is the fact that Ancients for both teams are pretty big assets for the Luna and the Gyrocopter, although right now it's not a huge stack. They'll be able to secure it, going bottom. Maybe they'll be able to kill off Funnick. They have the rotation in from the Clockwork and the Witch Doctor from the north.
They can play somewhat aggressive like they're doing right now, because they know the Queen could cover up the distance, the gap very quickly, provide that burst damage. So NLG making the right play, looking for a pick here, but seems like Empire is pretty wise to this situation, and they'll go for a push of their own up top.
Yeah, And also keep in mind you have the IO. That could have been their full 5-man team. They really wanted to take that engagement. Tiny will get the tower destruction, and he's going to start working towards presumably his Aghanim Scepter. As Tiny is very farmed. Even though Luna has slightly more net worth, she hasn't been able to bank that into pretty big items, but double damage are going to spawn bottom. Maybe that'll help. They'll give that away Excalibur Queen of Pain.
Panera should catch up fairly fast though, because Yasha is a pretty decent farming item. Although I think it's more important to get space on your own map, and they will see Madara coming up here. So let's see if they're gonna set up a kill. Rocket scouts out a couple of heroes. We'll force Resolution back. I don't think they're going home just yet. They want that Luna pick.
Oh yeah, they just want to set up a kill right now. They have the ward on this high ground. I think it's been pinged out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Spartan is also here to relocate if the Luna just doesn't get bursted, which she's not on that strength trade. Gotta be careful about that.
That's pretty dangerous. Still, she's tanked up nicely of the Magic Wand, the Aquila. She doesn't die instantly to the Tiny combo or even close to it unless he gets something like a DD rune. Everything's slowed down a little bit after a couple of, well, not failed rotations, but fruitful ones.
Funnick?
Oh, I think Funnick's going to be fine. Maybe not so fine as the Luna. His Resolution's pinging out on top. Avalanche is going to be throwing misses on the Madara. And that's going to be all she wrote. The relocate is going to come in.
Okay, so earlier I said that I think Mitch should be farming for Blade Mail. And since then, he's been trying to set up ganks for his team, which, I mean, it's been kind of off. They haven't really found too many kills. And the reason I suggested Mitch going for the Blade Mail is that it's going to be very good against the Tiny Toss combo. It's going to be great against the Gyro call down and Rocket Barrage, especially Gyro, because a lot of his damage he can't really control. Once the call down is in there, you Blade Mail and you walk in there, and suddenly the Volts without BKB will just die. I also believe that Clockwork is one of those heroes that will fall off in the mid game very quickly if you're not winning team fights after team fights, because the hero just doesn't farm that good. So he's gone for the more ganking approach, and I think his economy will really suffer.
Yeah,
as a result.
I think that's fair. The biggest issue is the Clockwork just doesn't have enough damage by himself. I'd like to see him set up ganks with Excalibur, but that's not going to happen until Queen has her.
I think they tried bottom just like earlier. When they tried to look for the dark.
They just didn't find the opening.
Yeah.
And really, to be fair, there's just not a lot of farming space for the Clockwork. All available resources are going to go into this Luna.
Or the Queen.
Yeah, or the Queen.
Yeah. I guess you can always rocket grapes here and there. Spend some towers. The Resolution is the biggest man on the map, so he's farming away. In fact, a TP will just force the entire team back. They understand. Oh, Clockwork Cook. They understand that if something happens, the relocate will come in. In fact, it comes in on the back line. Clockwork Cook does hit on the Tiny, but he can toss them away. In fact, he will. They do get the one kill. Actually, they lose the whip outright. Queen of Pain comes in, but it's still really not the fight they're looking for. Sonic Wave is going to be big. The cancel will cancel. The call down comes out on the back line here. Resolution comes back in. F4 still doing a ton of work. Queen blinks back in. They do get 2 for 2 trades so far, but Excalibur needs to get out of there. The Avatar will be there, and I do believe Queen will go down 3 for 2 trades so far. Resolution blinks forward, does not find Milan, and they throw essentially everything on the side of Empire, but no, get more than 2.
That was a really interesting fight. Both of the teams found weaknesses, or at least small overextensions from either side. You have situations where the Bane's going to be channeling that Fiend's Grip, and it's so rare to see a full channel Death Ward and them not win the fight. And I think that just goes to show that they don't have enough to push them over the edge. They got a lot of heroes low, but they just didn't have that finishing blow. I think Queen of Pain already committed.
Nightmare happening on the, looks like Spartan. God, nothing will come out of it. Yeah, it was really awkward. I'm not sure whether I like the hook onto the Tiny, because Tiny obviously could just toss you out regardless of your cog. I think it's very important against Team Empire that you get the one quick pick and then move on to the next, because the way, like, for example, if you don't get the Bane killed, he suddenly disables half your ganking squad, and it's not great. So, also, as we've been seeing, Excalibur's playstyle is very aggressive. Remember, like, mid lane where he got ganked, instead of blinking away, he went for the courier kill. Like, he likes to make those plays, and as a Queen of Pain, if you misstep once, you use your blink to initiate, and you don't have your escape plan, you just die. So we do see a little bit of that in the last team fight, and I imagine Steve is going to be continuing to play aggressive, and so far it's not really been working out, but maybe it would be a little bit better once he picks up the Orchid.
Actually, not an Aghanim Scepter first for Resolution. He's going to go for the BKB. They want to force fights. They want to take the pressure to NLG Gaming and just constrict their farming space. And I think
that's fair.
Yeah, a good item choice. I like it.
Makes Queen completely useless against Tiny. I mean, you can make the argument that if he's gone Axe, you could at least silence him so he doesn't do stuff in fight, but now he is just a crazy monster.
Yeah, and even without that Axe, he's doing quite a lot of damage. They have the Alpha Wolf on top of it. Just a right click here and there is doing quite a bit. They'll take down the tier 2 without any fight or any real threat of it. These engagements are lasting so long that he's able to get off multiple avalanche toss combinations, either through the blink and then the ones afterwards. It's so much damage. I think he doesn't really need to transition to that right-clicking core because he has the Gyrocopter behind him, who also has his own BKB.
They're also, these BKBs are countering the peak timing of NLG very well. Because right now, if NLG is ever going to win a fight, it's Queen of Pain blinking in, getting a 3-man Sonic Wave, follow up by the Madara's Eclipse and hitting multiple targets. You could definitely paint that scenario and see NLG coming ahead in that fight, but when both of the cores of Empire just pops their BKB, and then you have the Darkseid meching anybody that's low, how are NLG actually going to get any kills? I just don't see it happening.
Oh, Milan, right in front of a Gyrocopter. This should be a dead Witch Doctor. Do they have the follow damage? Oh, called up is going to be committed.
He's got 13 wands. He's using it, but very, very late. He'll get brought down regardless. And of course, Mitch gets picked up here by the relocate. That's good, but you're saving a Clockwork.
Yeah, and the IO is probably going to go down. Let's see if he can get a good tether off. This is so difficult. There's so much disable, and it's
Resolution is going to just spam Avalanche.
Or toss.
I'll toss, yeah. Overcharge, not exactly the most useful steal on Rubik. Yeah. You could prevent... If you could overcharge the Sonic Wave, that'd be pretty nice, but...
I suppose. In the meantime, you have Madara up top lane, who's pushing up there. The Luna has a lot of farm, but it just feels like she's not able to contribute nearly as much as they're just going to go high ground. Tier 3 tower is falling so very quickly, and I just don't think they have the power to fight in.
They actually
these
don't.
10-second BKBs. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I mean, like you said, Link and Avatar combo going on to Mitch. He just dies to brain stab, and this could be the very last fight. He's gonna get hit by a 2-man vacuum combo, and immediately the team just melts. Buyback from the Queen of Pain. Heroes are golden up here on the side of Team Empire. Maybe they'll play safe and back it off here as they don't have BKBs, but nah, they're gonna just hold their ground and just keep on pushing.
Yeah, and range barracks already falling. Melee barracks soon to fall afterwards, and I guess the saving grace for them is the fact that tier 2 towers still stand in top and bottom, and the lane in top is pushed out pretty far. But there's nothing to stop Empire from just going for Roshan and then finishing what they started here. This game gets so very difficult for No Logic Gaming. Already a team that's a little bit past their prime. The Luna, in theory, can scale pretty well into the late game, but only if she has more items than the Gyro.
She won't have time to scale, because I don't imagine Empire's going to let up the pressure.
No, they're not.
They're not even constricted by like Aegis timing, because as you see a pick here on the bottom side. Normally you see a team like, oh, we need to get Roshan, we need to wait for Aegis. They don't even care. They're just going.
Yeah, and they might as well. No Logic Gaming have no control here, and IO is going to be thrown up in the air and brought down. Double kill, beyond godlike for resolution. I just don't think you can give Empire all of these heroes. It feels like...
or if you're going to give them these heroes, you need to have a plan, because I feel like I really dislike calling things like out draft, because I feel like every draft has a chance to beat
they just
the
missed
other
their
draft.
window.
The window was very small. Like, the window was... We need to have an amazing start on essentially all of our cores, and the game looked very promising with Havoc just giving a free solo kill to the Queen of Pain. But again, like I'm very doubtful about this clock draft, as again Rubik are very good against that. Tiny could toss you out of the initiation, and Jaro, again, if you go for the late blade mail, will just murder you if you hook in. So I don't know. This draft is not really working as intended, I guess.
It's just very unforgiving. It was touched on in the first series where, especially in LAN situations, you want to have a draft that has a lot of different windows that you can still win the game in, and that's just not there. And I think the biggest issue for No Logic Gaming isn't the fact that they have a very specific window that they can win this game, and it's just that at every one of those stages where in theory their heroes are very strong, Empires are just one step ahead of them, even on even footing.
The Bane is actually what made the strategy not working. They are going to go for the Roach right now. Sonic Wave is big, but he immediately gets disabled by the entire squad. Stolen Sonic Wave, as mentioned earlier, just comes through and gets a kill. Milan comes through, he's going to get brought down. I imagine we're going to see his GG shortly after. Well, Spartan's going to make it out of there, and of course, was Luna even in the fight?
No, she was pushing up top lane now.
But Eclipse was used.
Oh, interesting.
Did he use Eclipse for the push?
I guess so. I didn't see it. I didn't see it inside the fight either.
I don't know about this. He might. Oh no, did he get Eclipse stolen? No, he only lost the beam. Madara is just, doing it sort of. Not really. He's gonna die now. Oh, he's walking very fast.
Oh, in the meantime, Havost is going to be able to kill off the IO, TP away. Madara's going to be fine.
All right.
At least for now. It just wasn't enough. I think at this point, anything other than a miracle is not going to do it for No Logic Gaming. They need an amazing fight going in their favor. And it needs to happen more than once. It can't just be like one 5-man wipe. Empire is still a racks ahead. Still, they also can't get complacent. Play things safe. Make sure that you have all of your cooldowns and they have the Aegis. I think as long as they just go down a lane and don't dive Fountain, they're probably good.
So one way I do see Dire maybe coming back into this game, despite how dire the situation is somehow Luna brings down the tier 3s up top, and Luna in a baseless or in a towerless base is gonna just go to work. Okay, you have no Manta style. Might just die. He's very, very tanky thanks to the high armor. In fact, they might turn this. Nice call pushing him to the low ground. Turning is maybe not the right word, as they are just running vacuum into call down here. Empire is just going to work, and of course Excalibur always in the center of things. Madara barely makes it home as they do pick off the Witch Doctor as well. Alright, I did suggest maybe a glimmer of hope of comeback, but looks like Empire puts their foot down on that one as well.
Yeah, it's going to be so very difficult, and Empire just looking solid. They're not giving any openings for No Logic Gaming. We've seen that throughout the entire match, where even though you'd really like to find these kills and cement yourself some semblance of a lead, it's never happened. That's shown very convincingly inside the graphs. It's just up and up in favor of Empire. Now they're going to take down this tier 2 tower in the bottom lane. With the tier 2 falling, they still have a good amount of Aegis time left on the tiny. How much? Oh, yeah, plenty. And they should be able to take it. I guess the only silver lining for No Logic Gaming is the fact that the double damage rune in bottom hasn't been picked up yet.
Do they need it?
No.
Here we go.
Again, out of a toss, they'll be able to bring down the Queen of Pain without the Queen of Pain. No Sonic Wave, no real hope to take this fight. But there is going to right-click down No Fear, but the Brain Scepter out to sing it, and GG well played will be called. The only hero that hasn't died yet is Mitch, and he's going to join the rest of his team. Ultra kill for Havost, and a very clean game number 1 from Empire.
Empire's all business, just showing up and winning Dota.
Yeah, pretty much, in the first series, and then the second one soon to follow afterwards. Empire, the execution has just been on the money, and it feels like, at least in this game, they're just so versatile when it comes to their picks, and they have a lot of comfort heroes. All of the bans were pretty much warranted coming out from No Logic Gaming. You definitely don't want to give them things like that Night Stalker, or even